I want to share something that might save your family during the next crisis. Right now, there's a jar sitting in your local grocery store's baking aisle for less than $3 that kept entire civilizations alive for thousands of years. But most Americans have never bought it for survival purposes. In the next few minutes, I'll walk you through 12 incredibly affordable foods that could mean the difference between your family thriving or struggling when disaster strikes. And here's what makes this interesting. You've probably walked past every single one of these items during your last shopping trip. Let's forget everything we think we know about survival food for a moment. We're not discussing expensive freeze-dried meals or military rations here. These are practical items that experienced preparedness enthusiasts quietly stockpile, while others panic buy toilet paper during emergencies. The truth is, the average American family has less than 3 days of food stored at home right now. Just 3 days. When major hurricanes hit, people were searching desperately for food by day 4. When severe winter storms shut down entire states, grocery stores remained empty for 2 weeks straight. After spending years studying what actually keeps families fed during real emergencies, not theoretical doomsday scenarios, but actual disasters that affect regular people, I've identified foods sitting in stores right now for less than what most of us spend on coffee in a morning. By the time you finish reading this, you'll have a practical shopping list that could feed your family for months, cost less than a nice dinner out, and provide something money simply cannot buy during a crisis: genuine peace of mind. Let me start with something that will surprise you because it's probably the most overlooked survival essential in existence and costs less than a candy bar. During the massive winter freeze that left millions without power and grocery stores empty for weeks, there were 2 distinct groups of families: those who gave up eating their emergency rice and pasta because it tasted unbearable, and those who had discovered a little secret sitting right in the soup aisle. I'm talking about bouillon cubes and soup base. Before dismissing this as just seasoning, understand why that's completely wrong. Your body doesn't just need calories to survive, it requires sodium and electrolytes. When you're stressed, working harder than usual, or dealing with extreme temperatures, you're sweating out the very minerals your muscles and brain need to function properly. Medical research shows that severe sodium deficiency can cause confusion, seizures, and even death within 48 hours. But here's the brilliant part. One tiny bouillon cube doesn't just add flavor. It transforms bland survival rice into something your children will actually eat. Consider this carefully. What good is 50 pounds of rice if your family refuses to eat it because it has no taste whatsoever? When shopping, look for bouillon cubes in the soup aisle. These represent the gold standard because they're packed with not just salt, but actual meat extracts, herbs, and the fat your body craves during stressful periods. Better than bouillon paste is even superior if you can find it because it's more concentrated and lasts longer once opened. Here's something most people don't realize. Chicken bouillon is nutritionally superior to vegetable bouillon because it contains actual chicken fat and protein extracts. When you're surviving on rice and beans, that extra bit of animal protein could make the difference between maintaining your strength and slowly weakening. The mathematics are stunning. One $3 container of bouillon can season hundreds of meals. Compare that to expensive survival food kits costing $200 that taste terrible. During major disasters, countless families had stockpiled food but couldn't stomach eating it plain. Meanwhile, those who understood this principle were enjoying what tasted like homemade chicken and rice soup every night. Store these in a cool, dry place, and they'll last for years. When disaster strikes while others are choking down flavorless emergency rations, your family will be asking for seconds. Next, let's discuss something sitting in the baking aisle that might be the most versatile survival item you've never considered. During severe winter storms, while families were throwing away spoiled olive oil and butter, smart preparedness enthusiasts were still cooking hot meals with coconut oil that had been sitting in unheated garages for 3 months. Why? Because coconut oil handles temperature swings remarkably well. Everyone will tell you to stock olive oil, but here's what they're not telling you. Olive oil goes rancid quickly, especially without proper storage. Coconut oil is basically indestructible. The science is simple, but brilliant. Coconut oil is loaded with saturated fats, the kind our grandmothers cooked with for generations. These saturated fats are chemically stable, which means they don't break down and turn toxic like other oils do. Recent research shows that your body literally cannot absorb fat-soluble vitamins without dietary fat. No fat equals vitamin deficiency, even if you're eating vegetables. Here's where it gets impressive. 1 teaspoon of coconut oil packs 120 calories of pure energy. That's more calories per spoonful than peanut butter. When you're in survival mode and every calorie counts, this substance is incredibly valuable, but it gets better. People have used coconut oil as skincare for chapped hands, as fuel for makeshift candles that burn for hours, and as cooking oil, all in the same emergency situation. Try doing that with other cooking fats. Look for it in the baking aisle, not the health food section where prices are inflated. A 14-ounce jar costs less than $7 and contains enough calories to sustain one person for 3 days if necessary. Here's something rarely discussed. Coconut oil naturally fights bacteria and fungus. So while other oils are breeding nasty organisms in your pantry, coconut oil is actually protecting itself. It's like having survival food with its own built-in security system. Now let me introduce you to the ultimate multi-purpose item in a bottle. If you only think of this as something you sprinkle on salad, you're missing 90% of its survival value. Before electric refrigerators hummed in every kitchen, how did our ancestors keep food from rotting? They didn't have freezers. They had vinegar. Historically, vinegar was the backbone of food security. It's a powerful acid that stops bacteria completely. Right now, you can grab a gallon of white vinegar for under $4. That's literally pennies for a preservation system that could save your harvest. But here's a shocking application that most modern people have forgotten. You can use vinegar to preserve fresh eggs. This is a traditional technique that can keep eggs shelf-stable for months without refrigeration. Imagine having protein when the grid is down for 6 months just because you bought a $3 jug today. And it doesn't stop at food. In a collapse scenario, poor hygiene causes more deaths than hunger. Apple cider vinegar is a legitimate medicinal tool that has been used for centuries to treat fungal infections, soothe sore throats, and help regulate blood sugar. White vinegar is a disinfectant that can clean medical tools or sanitize surfaces when bleach runs out. Recent studies in food science are rediscovering just how potent acetic acid, the main component of vinegar, is against foodborne pathogens. It's not just folklore, it's chemistry. So when you walk down that condiment aisle, don't just grab a small bottle. Purchase the gallon jugs. Because in serious emergencies, this isn't just salad, dressing. It's your cleaning crew, your medicine cabinet, and your food preservation system all rolled into one. Let's talk about something you've used hundreds of times but never realized you were holding one of the most powerful survival tools on the planet. I'm referring to baking soda. That little orange box for under $1 isn't just for cookies. During historical pandemics, doctors were literally prescribing baking soda to treat patients. Space agencies include baking soda on every mission because it can literally save lives in dozens of different ways. But most people make a critical mistake. They buy one tiny box from the baking aisle and think they're done. Wrong approach. You want the large industrial boxes from the cleaning aisle. purchase at least 3 of them. Why this matters. When the power goes out and your toothpaste runs out, a pinch of baking soda in water becomes your dental hygiene. When someone gets stung by a bee or wasp and medical help might not be coming, you make a paste with baking soda and water, and the pain stops in minutes. Last year, a family trapped in their house during a major hurricane had their kitchen catch fire from a damaged gas line. Someone grabbed a box of baking soda and extinguished that grease fire before it spread. That $1 box saved their house. And here's the remarkable part. Baking soda never expires if you keep it dry. You're buying something today that could still be useful decades from now. Moving forward, let's discuss something your grandmother probably had in her pantry, but modern families have completely forgotten about. Instant mashed potatoes. I know this sounds like processed junk, but listen carefully. Research has proven that humans can survive on nothing but potatoes and a little bit of fat for months without any nutritional deficiencies. Potatoes are the only food that contains every essential amino acid your body needs. But here's the genius part about the instant version. They're freeze-dried, which means they can sit in your pantry for 15 years without going bad. All you need is hot water. And in 5 minutes, you've got a complete meal that will keep you full for hours. Here's your strategy, and this is crucial. Grab instant mashed potatoes, but avoid any heavily flavored versions. Why? Because those loaded varieties are packed with so much sodium that they'll actually dehydrate you during an emergency. During severe winter storms, a single mother had her power out for 6 days with 3 young children and almost no food left, but she had 2 boxes of instant mashed potatoes. She mixed them with just warm water, didn't even have hot water, and those potatoes kept her kids fed and content until help arrived. The best part? Children actually eat them. When you're in survival mode, you don't have time to convince a crying child to eat unfamiliar foods. But mashed potatoes, they'll ask for seconds. Next is something hiding in plain sight on the cereal aisle, but most people grab the wrong type and completely miss the treasure. Rolled oats, but not the instant packets. Those are survival suicide. I'm talking about old-fashioned rolled oats in the large cardboard container. Research shows that people who ate oats for breakfast stayed full 40% longer than those who ate other cereals. When you're in survival mode and food is scarce, feeling full for hours instead of minutes could mean the difference between making it through or not. In harsh climates, families have survived on oats alone during brutal winters lasting 6 months. Grab the large container of old-fashioned oats. It costs about $4 and contains roughly 30 servings. But here's the survival strategy nobody talks about. You don't even need to cook them. During lockdowns, when people were panic buying everything, a healthcare worker discovered overnight oats. She'd mix rolled oats with water the night before, and by morning, they were soft and ready to eat. No heat required. When her building lost power for 3 days, she kept her energy up using this exact method. And here's the bonus. You can grind rolled oats in any blender to make oat flour. Suddenly, you can bake bread, make pancakes, or thicken soups. One $4 container just became your entire grain supply. Now we address the biggest problem most families face in a crisis: getting enough protein without spending a fortune. 1 cup of dry lentils contains 50 grams of protein. That's more protein than a steak, costs about 60 cents, and doesn't need refrigeration. But here's the advantage. While others are soaking beans overnight and cooking them for hours, you'll be eating a hot, protein-packed meal in just 15 minutes. Unlike beans, you can actually eat lentils slightly undercooked, and they're still safe and nutritious. Your digestive system can handle slightly firm lentils just fine. Head straight to the dried goods aisle. Red lentils cook the fastest, perfect when you're using limited fuel. Green lentils have the best flavor and hold their shape better. Properly stored lentils last 25 to 30 years. One 5-pound bag costs about $8 and provides enough protein for your family for weeks. This next item might sound boring, but it's literally the difference between surviving and thriving when fresh food disappears. During pandemic lockdowns, when grocery shelves were bare, people developed what doctors call scurvy, the disease that killed sailors centuries ago. Why? Because they were living on crackers and canned meat with zero vitamin C. Canned tomatoes are your secret weapon against this. 1 cup provides 20% of your daily vitamin C needs. But here's the remarkable part. Canned tomatoes actually contain more beneficial compounds than fresh ones. The heat from the canning process breaks down cell walls and makes powerful antioxidants more available to your body. There's another reason experienced preparedness enthusiasts stockpile tomatoes that nobody talks about. They're naturally acidic, which means even if something goes wrong with the canning process, harmful bacteria can't survive. It's built-in food safety. Purchase them in 3 forms. Whole tomatoes are the most versatile, crushed tomatoes for making sauces that transform bland rice into something your kids will actually eat, and tomato paste, which is concentrated nutrition in a tiny can. 1 small can of paste has the nutritional equivalent of 12 fresh tomatoes. Add canned tomatoes to literally anything, and it becomes comfort food. This next recommendation will make some cringe, but it could save your life. Canned meat products. During massive flooding, families survived for 12 days on nothing but canned meat, crackers, and water. The children were healthy, the parents were energized. These products don't just fill you up, they keep you full. When you're stressed and your body is burning extra calories, you need fat for satiety. Canned meats provide this in a way that lean proteins can't. Your brain gets the signal that you're truly fed, not just temporarily full. These products are already cooked. When the power's been out for days, when you're cold and exhausted, the last thing you want is figuring out how to safely cook raw meat. Pop open a can, and you've got hundreds of calories of complete protein ready to eat. During major historical conflicts, these products literally kept military forces alive. It's not gourmet, but it's proven survival food. Now we address a silent crisis that most families never see coming until it's too late. Your body needs calcium for more than just strong bones. Without enough calcium, your muscles cramp, your heart rhythm becomes irregular, and your nerves start misfiring. In a survival situation, when stress is high and nutrition is limited, calcium deficiency can literally be life-threatening. During severe winter storms, emergency rooms saw dramatic increases in muscle cramps and heart palpitations. Doctors initially thought it was stress, but it was actually nutritional. People were surviving on crackers and canned goods with zero calcium. This is where whole milk powder becomes your family's secret weapon. 1 cup of reconstituted whole milk powder provides significant calcium, meeting a substantial portion of your daily needs. But you need the whole milk version, not the non-fat variety. Why? Because in survival situations, your body is burning calories at an incredible rate. Whole milk powder gives you 150 calories per cup, while non-fat gives you only 80. Those extra 70 calories from fat could be the difference between maintaining your energy and hitting the wall. Properly stored powdered milk lasts 20 to 25 years. 1 box replaces about 40 gallons of fresh milk. Let me address something controversial. A survival situation, opinions on health food go out the window. We're talking about shortening. Modern diet culture tells us to avoid this stuff. But let me share something important. Starvation doesn't care about dietary trends. In a crisis, your biggest enemy isn't cholesterol, it's running out of energy. Pure fat contains 9 calories per gram, more than double the energy of protein or carbohydrates. When you're freezing in a blackout or working hard to secure your home, you need dense fuel. A single tablespoon of shortening is 110 calories. One small container holds over 3,000 calories. That's 2 full days of survival energy for under $6. But why shortening instead of vegetable oil? 2 reasons: spillage and stability. If an earthquake hits or you have to move fast, liquid oil bottles crack and leak. Shortening is solid and stays put. Unopened, it has a shelf life that puts regular oil to shame. Some have opened containers from 10 years ago that were still good to cook with. Plus, let's be realistic about morale. In a crisis, you'll likely be eating bland rice or beans. The only way to make that palatable for weeks on end is to fry it. Frying turns survival food into a comfort meal. Don't underestimate the power of a fried potato when morale is low. Finally, the ultimate item. This separates casual preparedness from serious food security. I'm talking about whole wheat berries. Most people buy white flour, which is a mistake. White flour starts to go rancid and attract pests after 6 to 12 months. Wheat berries are the whole unground kernel. They're nature's perfect survival capsule. Archaeologists have found wheat in ancient tombs that was thousands of years old and still viable. When stored properly, this food will outlive you. We're talking about 30-plus years of shelf life guaranteed. But the real magic is their versatility. You can use them in 3 completely different ways. Cook them whole like rice for a hearty meal, grind them to make fresh flour for bread, or sprout them. This is the game changer. If you soak them in water for a few days, they sprout. You just turned a dry grain into a fresh vegetable packed with vitamin C. When grocery stores are closed, and there are no fresh vegetables, sprouting wheat berries prevents deficiencies and keeps your immune system fighting. This is the ultimate survival insurance. It's affordable, it lasts forever, and it literally grows into fresh food. Before you rush out shopping, let me share 4 crucial truths. First, the 72-hour myth. The government tells you to prepare for 3 days, because that's when help theoretically arrives. But reality is different. Major disasters have left regions without power for 11 months. Severe storms lasted 2 weeks. Real disasters don't follow government timelines. Second, your food storage should be a living system, not a static pile. Date everything. Use the oldest items first. If you're not eating from your storage regularly, you're not prepared. You're just hoarding expired food. Third, a water truth that will shock you. All these foods are worthless without water. You need 1 gallon per person per day minimum, and I'm talking 2 weeks minimum storage. A family of 4 needs 56 gallons just for drinking and basic cooking. Fourth, the gradual approach works. Don't blow your budget buying everything at once. Add 2 to 3 extra items to each grocery trip. Your family won't even notice the extra $10 to $15, but in 6 months, you'll have a solid foundation that could carry you through anything. These 12 foods aren't glamorous, but they're battle-tested. They've sustained entire civilizations and proven themselves in real disasters when fancy gear failed. Your family's security isn't about having the latest survival gadgets. It's about having food that actually works when the power's out, the stores are empty, and everything else fails.